Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's October 22nd, and we're going to start putting onions in the ground. We've pre-watered our row. That way, whenever we get ready to start planting these, it'll be a little easier. Now, these plants, and you can see they're doing pretty good. They've been cut back twice. They definitely want to go in the ground. These are a little over 7 weeks old, and this is the perfect size. They don't have to be gigantic to put them in the ground. Now we've got our little special tool here that we made. Now this, we can plant either one of two ways. We can use it to plant 6 inches apart, so we use it every other dowel hole, or we can plant them close if we're going to do for green onions and thin them as we go along. But anyway, we're going to get these planted. Now the way I do this is I'm just going down with my little tool. I'm making the hole, and then Vicky comes along behind and she sticks them in the hole. So just doing every other hole for this row, because we're planning for these to be bigger bulbing onions. Once we get a bunch planted, we'll probably start using every hole to do more green onions. With just a few little woodworking skills, you can build your own little spacer. And of course, if you don't plant very many onions, this is probably not necessary, but with as many as we plant, this just makes it so much easier. Now, being we have a market bed, and I'll take and probably this row is a little bit odd shape, so what's going to happen is once I get down to the end of it, I'm going to probably end up maybe doing 5 rows wide. We're not so much worried about the drip tape, because we do overhead water these a bunch when we do our onions. So, but I'll just continue this, and once I get all my holes made, then I can come back and give her a hand planting. One thing I want to stress when you're planting your onions, any little bitty weeds that you see in there, you need to go ahead and take them out. They'll just be some that you'll have to take out later, and they could create more of a problem. A properly prepared bed really does save you a lot of time later on in the season. Now, I have heard some people talk about they don't like growing their own onions because the roots are so long on them. Now, when you buy onion plants, they don't have any roots because they trim them off. But it doesn't take much just to get most of these roots in the ground, put a little dirt on it, and just continue along that way. It's not like every root that's on here has got to be in that hole. It's just a matter of push them down, push a little dirt, and go on the way. And if you don't like the long roots, take your scissors and just trim them a little bit. But these roots, any that's above the ground, they're going to air prune off. Those that's below the ground will continue to go. In fact, they don't have to wait like your regular onions you purchase from your big box store or your farm supply or something. Once they're in the ground, water them in good, and they're going to start growing. That's what they want to do, and they ain't slowed down because they're not allowed to dry and go dormant like they do the ones that you'll find on the shelves at the store. Okay, they're all in the ground. That 36 cell tray had just a little more than enough to do a 45-foot roll, or a bed, I should say. Now what I'm doing is watering these in. Want to water them in good. Now some of the roots are probably, there's a good possibility they could have been damaged when you were putting them in. So if you want a nice even bunch and not watch, most of them will go ahead and grow roots, but you might have a few that you might need to replace. And while we're over here, you see our garlic, one variety is already coming out of the ground. We've been keeping it watered. You get it where it comes out of dormancy and goes ahead and grows. Hopefully it'll do well. We'll find out. Certain varieties don't do real well in certain areas. So either be too warm or be too cold. And so it's good to get a variety. If you're limited on space, get a variety that is made for your area so that you, for sure, get a crop. And for us, now we do have extra space, but and our main variety that we grow is elephant garlic. Now, a lot of people say that's not a true garlic. Well, I don't care. It looks like a garlic. It tastes like a garlic. What can I say? It must be a garlic. Now, it'll be a little bit slower to break dormancy. We do have some silver skin garlic that's at the end of this row and on the rest of this row. And it hasn't decided to come out yet. And what I want to say is, I'm out here watering my onions again. But don't think that just one time is enough. That's the same thing with my garlic. I come out here at least once a day and water my garlic, sometimes twice a day, depending on how hot it is and dry it gets, because of my particular soil makeup, which is the top is wood chip compost, so it does tend to dry a little bit quicker. But if you keep it watered, everything will come up good and it'll get rooted in. You don't want to water too much because you want to encourage the roots to come down, but you don't want to stress your plants. Once you stress them, then the bugs come in. Looks like I've got a garlic right there coming up. And it very well could have been one that was getting ready to, that already broke dormancy before I planted it. I did have a few that were green, so they wanted to be in the ground. But yeah, if you want successful onions, then you need to make sure that you keep them moist until they get rooted in. And my onions do like a lot of moisture. They like a lot of water, but they like to be able to. They don't want to compete with anything, grass or something like that. That'd be a problem. And if you're up north, of course, you can't plant your onions right now. If you're down south, you still could possibly grow some seed and still get them into the ground. Just make sure you have good seeds to germinate quick. And I'd say these are they're a couple days older than 7 weeks, so not quite 8 weeks, because in this time of year they tend to grow off a little bit quicker. And of course, you can give them some fish emulsion or something to encourage them to grow. Now, for those of you that's up north, just know that your onion plants to reach a transplantable size, which for me this is transplantable size, is going to take about 10 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks. 8 to 10 weeks. And another tip, now I always leave my hose running just a hair, and then I shut it off, because if you want to destroy a hose, the quickest way to destroy that hose is to close it off, close the valve off, and let the sun pressure it up, because that is the best way to mess up the filter. So, okay, that's got that. And for a lot of you, you might want to keep going and push through and plant some more. But for me, I'm going to call that a day. And I'm going to say I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you maybe learned a little bit. If not, I hope that you reinforce something and encourage you to plant. As always, if you want to see more, subscribe, hit the bell, select all, give her a big thumbs up, and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.